Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, there's another Marvel video. Now, first and foremost, I'm posting this on a pretty crazy day. James Earl Jones has passed away, the voice of Darth Vader and Mufasa, and he's an actor too. He's a bunch of other stuff. But it sucks that he passed away, so rest in peace, rest in the Force. James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, pretty horrible, tragic crap, but we have an actual video to talk about today that isn't that, but I just wanted to mention that he did pass away, so rest in peace. Anyway, on to the actual video. So with the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of gathering a lot of, that's not Marvel, but you know, that's Marvel. A lot with the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of, you know, getting a lot of crazy additions to the canon, right? And that's a big word we're going to be using, canon. I kind of wanted to make this video not super long, but just kind of explain and just kind of give you my opinion on the canon or the multiverse and stuff like that, because I've kind of been mulling it over for a long time, and you know, with the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, okay, I really got to talk about this. So with that being said, obviously, spoilers for stuff like Spider-Man No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine. Look, if you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters or wherever, and you wanted to see it, I don't know what the fudge you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, movie tickets, I don't think they're that expensive. I don't think. I know people are busy, but still, you know, just hopefully you've seen it by now. If not, sorry, but I'm spoiling it. Yeah, so basically, you know, this whole kind of thing started with the MCU, right? We got stuff like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Ant-Man, or whatnot. And then we kind of were breaching off a little bit, and we got some other stuff with, like, WandaVision, right? In WandaVision, we got, what's-his-face, Evan Peters as Quicksilver, right, from the Fox X-Men universe. Obviously, we know it's not Quicksilver, it's Ralph Boner, or whatever the F his name was, but, you know, it was still cool to see that element, right? We're like, oh shit, this is crazy, you know what I mean? We're getting we're getting stuff that, you know, old actors into new stuff, and oh my god, this is crazy. And it's not, you know, Quicksilver, it's Ralph, but still. So, you know, we get the main Disney-owned, not Disney-made, Disney-owned, much like Star Wars. Disney doesn't make Star Wars, they just legally own it. Lucasfilm still makes it. People are nuts. We had the Fox stuff, right? We had like Deadpool, obviously Deadpool 1 and 2. You know, the X-Men franchise, Fantastic Four. We've gotten other things, you know, from Fox, like Elektra, Daredevil, Blade. You know, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, the Andrew Garfield, Mark Webb duology, whatever, the two movies. And you've got, you know, a bunch of other crazy things. And then, of course, you've got the MCU. Now, the MCU has had a bit of a weird canon, I guess, disposition, if you will, because, you know, we've gotten the MCU, right, and then I think a little bit after 2012 with the Avengers 1, we got Daredevil and Punisher and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and the Defenders and all this stuff, and then we got, you know, Agent Carter and you know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a lot of agents, and then, you know, for some weird reason, when WandaVision dropped on Disney Plus, their first MCU show, they were like, oh, well, you know, the Netflix stuff, that's not canon. It's not. It's its own thing. And people are like, what the? That doesn't make any freaking sense, because I haven't seen them yet, but, you know, when I do my MCU rewatch, I'll get to it. But I've heard that, you know, in the Netflix show, especially Daredevil, they reference the MCU, like they reference the Avengers. So it's kind of weird that they consider it non-canon, you know. And then, of course, you know, Hawkeye comes out, which will be soon in the review. And you get a bunch of other of these, you know, newer additions, and then Kevin Feige and whoever the fudge is like, oh yeah, it's actually it's part of the sacred timeline now. So it's like, okay, cool, great. It always effing was, but thanks, you know, thanks for the confirmation that I didn't need. It was just really weird because, you know, what canon essentially means, if something is canon, right? Just use this. If this is the first thing I had. If SpongeBob SquarePants Season 13 on DVD, this is canon. That means that SpongeBob Season 13 is officially part of the SpongeBob SquarePants lore TV show, right? It's part of the franchise. Same thing there, you know what I mean? Like you look at Star Wars. Again, Star Wars has kind of the you know, biggest use of the word canon or lore. You know, obviously stuff like Legends, right? Legends, the Force Unleashed games, right? Force Unleashed 1 and 2. Good games. I like them, but they are part of Legends, which is not canon. Which essentially, yeah, kind of means that it's now fan fiction. It doesn't count. Which doesn't, you know, exclude its quality or merit, but it's not officially Star Wars. Something like The Acolyte, Solo, the sequel trilogy, Bad Batch, you know, whatever, Jedi Survivor, Star Wars Outlaws, those are canon, which means those games and movies and shows, they all take place in the same continuity, right? It's all officially a part of the lore of Star Wars. Same thing with the MCU, right? We've had a lot of this stuff with the Netflix stuff now. officially, bleed over into the main, MCU continuity. I believe Agent Carter is still canon because the Jarvis in that show is an Endgame, so I think that's good. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., however, is apparently not canon because obviously in Avengers 2012, Phil Coulson gets, I think, stabbed and dies. Not by Ghostface, by Loki. Probably more dangerous than Ghostface. But in that instance, okay, cool, great. And then they brought him back to life. Okay, cool, great. But for some reason, it's still, I haven't seen it. For some reason, Agents of Carter, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever, that's not canon. Okay. Sucks, but is what it is. And then, of course, you get to, the more multiversal stuff with, of course, like I said, WandaVision. And then you bleed over to Loki, right? You get Loki Season 1. And you get, these different multiverse variants, right? A variant of someone is essentially a different version of that character in another, multiverse or world or universe or whatever. And that was cool. And then, with Spider-Man No Way Home, we started really, really, getting into, we had What If, the animated show, which is canon as well, which kind of shows different versions of the character, right? Like Captain Carter, stuff like that. But, No Way Home is really when shit hit the fan, metaphorically, because, or the webs hit the fan, I guess, because, you get Tom Holland Spider-Man, MCU Spider-Man, with Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi, with Andrew Garfield, Mark Webb, and that was probably one of, it was obviously incredible to see in the theater, and it was one of the best things to happen to Marvel in recent years, not just because it was cool, but because it was, not only fan service, but it also solidified older things, such as, the Tobey Maguire films and the Andrew Garfield films. It officially made those two movies, Tobey and Andrew, canon to Tom, right? It sounds weird, but those two movies were owned by Sony, right? Those were never part of the MCU. They were their own universes, right? Tobey and Andrew were separate, and they were then separate from Tom Holland MCU, right? Legally, they couldn't combine until now. So now that you have, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in No Way Home, you have confirmation that in the MCU, within the multiverse, right? Now, I don't want to say Tobey and Andrew are part of the MCU. They're not. But they are technically due to the multiverse, okay? You're going to be seeing that a lot, due to the multiverse, right? It's not like you go Captain America 2, Spider-Man 1, Tobey Maguire, and then Thor Ragnarok, and then Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man 1. It doesn't work like that, They're part of their own universes, but those two universes now are colliding in the main MCU universe through the multiverse. If you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, it's probably not your fault. It's not my fault. It's just you're probably out of the loop, okay? That's what's happening. And then, of course, you get, the Venom movies, right? Venom 1, 2, The Last Dance is coming out soon. You got Morbius, Madam Web, which I believe Madam Web is not canon to anything. That's its own pocket dimension of garbage. It's not as bad as the internet says, but it wasn't great. And then you get, what else? Morbius, Venom, whatever the hell Sony else is doing. The Into and Across the Spider-Verse movies, right? Those animated movies. Guess what? Those two animated movies are also canon to the MCU. We see that in Across the Spider-Verse. Really, really cool stuff. You also see, in the Spider-Man PS4 games, right? In the Insomniac games, you see Spider-Man PS4 and Spider-Man 2 and, the Miles Morales spin-off. Those games are also canon to the MCU. And through the movie Across the Spider-Verse, we see that confirmation. So it's really, really cool as a Spider-Man fan to say that these two animated movies, these PS4 games and PS5 games, Tobey, Andrew, and all the other, basically every single reference in the Into and Across the Spider-Verse movies, TV show to whatever, those are also canon to the MCU, right? That's incredible, because now it's showing the audience that the MCU is, it's just getting bigger when you got to do your rewatch, which is great, but it's also, part that we're getting, regardless of whether you like the, Sam Raimi films or the Mark Webb films, those are officially now part of the MCU. Through the multiverse. Same with the games and the Into and Across the Spider-Verse movies. It's really, really great stuff. Again, the Venom movies, Morbius, all of this stuff, all the Sony stuff is now canon to the MCU. That's crazy. And I'm not just making that up. Obviously, if you've seen these movies and you know Marvel, I'm not making this up, okay? I can't give you definitive proof without showing you movie clips, but, it's in there. Clearly you see Tom Holland in the Spider-Man movies, and you see Andrew Garfield, you see all this other crazy stuff. Really, really cool stuff. And then you get to, of course, the Fox Marvel things, because back in the day, when you have, Lego Marvel 2, for example, obviously that's not canon to anything, but Lego Marvel 2 couldn't legally have X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, because, Disney and Marvel didn't own Fox Marvel. Now that Disney has legally purchased and now owns Fox, all the X-Men films are now officially Disney movies, which is fine, I guess. It's cool, I guess. But the cool thing with Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously spoilers, is that, through that movie, we not only see that the first 2 Deadpool films are now canon to the MCU, right? We literally see Deadpool talking to Happy Hogan and all these other things. We also see, Wolverine. Obviously not Hugh Jackman Wolverine. It is Hugh Jackman Wolverine, but not the the main version that we've been seeing, right? This is quote unquote the worst shitty version of Wolverine that we all hate, I guess, that everyone in the world is supposed to hate. We also get confirmation that the movie Logan is canon to the MCU, right? We also get references like Blade, so the Blade trilogy's there. Got Elektra. I have that movie. It's not good, but it's canon. Daredevil with Ben Affleck, that's canon. You get the Fantastic Four movies. I'm not too sure about the Miles Teller Four-Stick one, but I know for a fact that, of course, the 2 Fantastic Four films with Johnny Storm, whatever those 2 older ones, that is obviously canon to the MCU, which is really great stuff. So upon watching Deadpool and Wolverine, like, the MCU is just getting stupid big. That's incredible. Like, we've got the Sony stuff, the Fox stuff, and the Disney stuff. Like, it's all canon to each other. That's incredible, because now what we're able to do is look at older movies that maybe aren't as relevant as they were, like Sam Raimi. I know there's memes and shit, but the Sam Raimi trilogy and Logan, they're not as vital as, say, like even though apparently no one saw the Marvels or Ant-Man or Loki season 2, that type of thing. Moon Knight, they're not new. They're new, but they're not like brand new stuff. So it's really cool that Marvel's able to take that and kind of not shoehorn it in, but actually, make these things not only canon to each other now, but thematically through the storytelling, make it all make sense. And that's really, really great. It's not just, some of it is just, oh, look at Blade, Blade's here, but like, Blade isn't just there to be like, I'm Blade, motherfucker, I skate uphill, he's not just there to do that. He actually has a purpose in the film, right? It's really, really good stuff. Obviously, the Sony stuff, the X-Men movies, those are all canon as well. And they're able to do all this through the multiverse, right? That's crazy. Like, it's just so freaking cool. I don't know about X-Men 97, but I don't think that's part of anything. But it's just really, really cool, man, to live in a Marvel, be a Marvel fan where you've got the MCU, but now, when I go watch Venom: The Last Dance, regardless of the quality, I'll know that Venom 3 is officially canonical to the MCU, right? That's insane. Same thing with, Deadpool. When I watched Deadpool and Wolverine, I walked out of that movie, I was like, wow. It's a great film, but also now Deadpool, Fantastic Four, Blade, Daredevil, Elektra, X-Men, like all these older Fox properties, Disney's, they're not just rebooting them, they're not just saying, oh yeah, remember Elektra? F that, we're rebooting. And I know we do have an Elektra in the main MCU through Daredevil, but I think that's really, really interesting that they're able to kind of, once they purchase these things, they didn't just throw it in the dumpster and say, F that stuff, it's old and gross. They were able to take older franchises and, older properties and seamlessly kind of intertwine them into the MCU and make older franchise more relevant again, which is really effing great. Again, as a massive Marvel fan, not just the MCU, but Marvel in general, it's really cool that you're able to take movies that, I'm not the biggest fan of the Sam Raimi trilogy, but now that it's officially part of the MCU, it is going to be officially part of my MCU rewatch series. It'll be in the quotation marks, like Deadpool movies, but it's still really cool. Fantastic Four 1 and 2, the X-Men films, Logan, the Wolverine, like all of these variants of these characters, everything pretty much connects. Now, obviously, there's stuff like, the Punisher. I'm not too sure which Punisher is canon, through Deadpool. I don't know if there's like 3 of them. I have no idea. But I don't know if we have a definitive... If we have a definitive answer on that, please tell me in the comments and I'll count that in that. But as far as we know, I don't think we have one yet. But, just to see Azazel in the background from X-Men First Class is like, oh shit, like, that's canon now. It's just... The word canon is so... Not like a boom cannon, but like I said... canon being officially part of something. As a comic book Star Wars nerd, like, that's a big effing word, it's like a big deal to say if something's canon, right? That means it's officially part of that thing, and it counts. Now, obviously, the last part of this video is me going to be basically proposing the question to you guys: will you watch something if it's not canon? Let's say Madam Web was a masterpiece, and they were like, "That Madam Web is not canon to the MCU, nothing. It's just its own little poopy pocket dimension." But let's just say it's not poopy. It's good. Will you still watch that? Like, you look at the DCEU, right? DCEU. I actually love the DCEU. I think it's really great. Not every movie's a banger, but they're pretty good. The Flash, though, when Ezra Miller probably should be dead or in jail, he's done some pretty bad stuff. but I think that movie isn't horrible in my opinion. I actually kind of enjoyed that movie. But, you know, after watching The Flash, seeing, oh, the CW stuff is canon. Oh, the Christopher Reeve and the you know, Supergirl, freaking 1966 Ben Affleck, the guy who sounds like this, I don't know, Adam West, he's canon to the DCEU, you know. It's insane. That was kind of shoehorned in, right? That kind of did the opposite of what Marvel's doing, but nonetheless, it's still canon to the DCEU. Now this is just brain rot. With the DCU, right, they just slashed out the frickin' E. James Gunn's Superman, or Superman Legacy, whatever the hell he's calling it now, coming out with the new rebooted DC Universe. I wonder if that's going to have a role, right? Because we know that, you know, the Batman, Matt Reeves' the Batman, Joker and Joker Filet do the McDonald order. That is, you know, that is not canon to, you know, Joker 1 and 2 are not canon to the Batman. And that's also not canon to the DCEU or the DC. You know what I mean? It's just effing crazy. So if you can make it make sense, it's great. But, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty right now with DC at least. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people say on Twitter, you know, F Twitter, but I've seen a lot of people on there going, oh, well, is this canon? No? Oh, well, I don't want to watch that. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people have this mindset that if it's not canon to something, if it doesn't tie in, if it's not a big part of this overarching universe and lore, why should I watch it? Like, why do I care? You know what I mean? Who cares? It doesn't connect to anything. You know, The Force Unleashed, it's not canon anymore, so who the hell cares? You know what I mean? Oh, boo-hoo! Who cares? You know, the 1990, I don't know, Steve Rogers Captain America movie from the 90s, like I said, that I didn't see, but apparently no one likes. That's obviously not canon to anything, but people still watched it, you know what I mean? Obviously, you know, I'm taking it out of context, the MCU wasn't around then, but still, you know, it's kind of weird that some people have this mindset where they're like, oh, if it's not a part of the canon, it's not worth my time. Now, for me, I love Star Wars canon. I really don't know a whole lot about Legends. I personally really, I don't want to say I don't care, but Star Wars canon is so friggin' big, and I have like other things to worry about than just Star Wars. If I was getting paid to love Star Wars, I swear to God I'd do that 24/7. But, you know, sadly, I have homework and shit to do, so I can't just, you know, think about Star Wars all the time. I try to, but it doesn't work out. But, you know, with Legends being the case, Legends technically, like I said, it's not canon. It's fan fiction. It doesn't count, but it's still good. I'm assuming, you know what I mean? Like, it once was canon, right? Now, some of the Legends stuff is a bit wonky, I'm not going to lie. You know, I said I don't have time to really get into it, but people love Legends, and, you know, they shouldn't be discredited for liking something that isn't canon. So, it's kind of a really weird gray area, so to speak, but in terms of Marvel and Star Wars, like I said, and even DC did a little bit, but Marvel has done it so well where they can, you know, seamlessly intertwine, like I said, these different universes and franchises that were once not canon to anything. You know, I mean, they didn't matter at all to the lore. They didn't count. They were just their own thing. And they're over and they're done, right? And then all of a sudden, through one movie or one show or one episode even, all of these things can kind of, you know, come together in the same little bin and start high-fiving each other. So it's really cool that you can do that in this modern, you know, Marvel era with the films. And again, you know, I'm able to play Spider-Man 2 PS5 and then watch Into the Spider-Verse and then watch Logan and Deadpool 2 and you know, Spider-Man 3 with Sam Raimi and Venom 2 and say all of these things are now part of the MCU with Thor Ragnarok, you know what I mean, through the multiverse. It's such a crazy time to be a Marvel fan, and again, I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts and opinions. Again, as you can probably tell, I'm a big fan of it because, again, they're able to take older, you know, quote-unquote dead properties and make them alive, right? Revitalize them, rejuvenate them into being more relevant, which is really great. You know, Star Wars canon is all over the place. I love it. I like to think I know a lot about it. Star Wars is pretty much my #1 franchise right now. It used to be Ninjago. I think Ninjago's 2. It kind of got a little bit woke and weird, but you know, Star Wars is really great, and I always love it. All Star Wars is good. You guys know me. # Save the Acolyte, all that fun stuff. But in terms of Marvel, again, it's really great. You know what I mean? Some of the Marvel things recently haven't been 100%. Again, in terms of my MCU rewatch, next up is Eternals. I should be watching that soon. It's hard to watch a 2 hour and 45-minute movie when you have homework, but I'm trying to fit it in. It's just a great time, honestly. You know what I mean? Really, really good stuff to, you know, watch or play a game and have it all be connected. Obviously, not everything has to be connected to be good, as I stated, but I think it's really cool that we are able to do that with these different franchises. I'm pointing at a Star Wars poster. From Star Wars to Marvel. I don't have anything DC. No, I got something DC's down here. To DC, to all these different things. It's really, really great to be a part of it. And when it's done right, with what they've been doing with Marvel as opposed to DC, I think it's going to be really great to continue with the multiverse saga and see what's going on. I don't know what's happening with Kang, but still, should be interesting. But again, tell me in the comments down below what you think about the word canon, or what does canon mean to you. Again, I love all Star Wars canon. Again, I don't want to say I hate Legends. I just really don't know anything about it. I prefer not to, honestly. I have so much to worry about in life as it is. I'm just going to stick to what's canon. But I love it all. I love Marvel. I love DC even though they kind of poop the bag a little bit. I think Marvel is obviously winning in that department, but they're doing a really great job of kind of, like I said, taking old things and making them new again. Really, really great stuff. So yeah, tell me down below what you think about all this, man. It's really great to be in a Marvel world where all this stuff is now connected, and it just makes seeing, when I go watch Venom 3, I'm not like, oh yeah, it's part of the Sony-verse. Like, no, all of this is now one thing, and it's really great, and I think that is honestly the best thing that the multiverse saga, or just the multiverse concept of Marvel in general, has been able to do. It's really, really awesome and cool to, be a Marvel fan right now because of this, and hopefully we're going to be getting more multiversal fun stuff soon, and, not everything has to be canon to be good, but, when I rewatch Blade, I'm going to have a little bit more fun inside me, metaphorically, knowing that that sounded weird. Knowing that, Blade is now part of the MCU, like, through the multiverse, not like, you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, I had a great time talking about this. I wanted to get this off my chest and just kind of tell you guys my thoughts on the multiverse and all the canon stuff that's been happening, because it's pretty crazy, and Deadpool and Wolverine, when that released, it really, really made everything more, official and just really more epic. I really didn't expect all those cameos and all that, I knew Deadpool and Logan and X-Men, but, to see all those other things, really, really great stuff. So my MCU rewatch has only gotten bigger for this series, but I don't care. I pretty much own all this stuff on DVD and Blu-ray anyway, so, now I just have another awesome excuse to watch these fun movies. So yeah, I can't wait to dive back deep into, that sounded weird too, right into the Eternals with, and then we're going to be going to Hawkeye, and I believe it's Spider-Man No Way Home. Again, I apologize for some day delay with the MCU rewatch. School's in session, but it should be a lot of fun to rewatch the Eternals. I don't remember loving it. I remember enjoying it to a degree. Hopefully I'll have that video out soon, but yeah, I just wanted to make this video and kind of give you guys my thoughts. Tell me yours down below, and yeah, Marvel's pretty awesome. Can't wait to see what they do next. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.